Hey Queen, thank you for joining me for this week's update on the 52 book challenge. So if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you want to know how I got on with last week's book and what my recommendation is for this week. If you have essentially clicked on this video by accident, then hi, my name is Rebecca Barr, aka the Femalepreneur Coach, and I have set myself a challenge of reading 52 books, so one a week in 2024, that are going to up level every aspect of my life and business. So this week, I think we're on week 4 now. So this week I was just finishing off Gary Vee's incredible book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And I'm going to give you my honest review. So essentially, I've lost the cover because I have a 2-year-old. Hello, I have a 2-year-old, and this is a hard copy. So as soon as it had the cover on it, she literally whipped it off, and it's never been seen again. Essentially, I chose this book because I love Gary Vee. I love everything about him. And what I really respect is, I think for me personally, my journey to entrepreneurship, I built a brick and mortar business before I moved into the online space and became a business coach as such. So I'm somebody that is very much well schooled in the old school methods of business, where you build relationships, you do the work, you show up consistently, you give before you ask. And the online space, however, can be the complete reverse of that. I know so many business coaches that have never had a business. This is their only business, the business of selling their business coaching. And it blows my mind, because I think having that real strong foundation from the grassroots up of how to build a business out of nothing, and then how to make money, and then how to pivot when things aren't working. Like, hello, I went through COVID. I've done payroll and, had a baby and had to get back to work the next day. I think that really builds you up a strong toolkit of resilience and self-leadership and discernment that will support you in so many different areas of life, but also will really help you when things don't work out in business, which is inevitable. The journey of an entrepreneur, so I'm an award-winning entrepreneur also, is not like this just steady period of growth. It is a bit of a roller coaster, and that's just part of the journey. Like, things work until they don't work, and then you have to pivot and tweak until they do again. And a lot of people are missing that part in the journey because they're building these businesses online, looking to everybody else who's saying you can make 10k months in your pants without doing any work. And the reality is that's just not true. And even if you had that success, how the hell would you replicate it? That is the reality. How would you replicate that success when you've got no idea what got you there? So I've always loved Gary's old school approach to business and about giving before you ask and all of the things. So admittedly, here's the thing, like, I listened to his podcast, I've read his other book, The Thank You Economy. I consume pretty much everything that he puts out. And this book for me was just one of the things that I'd bought, but I hadn't actually got round to reading. And I thought this would be a great chance to do that, obviously, with the challenge and the accountability. The only thing I did not realize was how old the book is. I did not realize. So I think it was first published in like 2007 to 2013, which is like probably 3 years before I even had my first business. So I think, all things considered, with that in mind, this book is way ahead of its time, because even for my business, I had a ladies' hair salon and a barbershop, and I never really leaned into the power of social media. Definitely for the first few years of business, I only scratched the surface. Like, Instagram wasn't a thing for business until like way into the journey, when the barbers would get really creative with creating content and stuff, and then that built up our social profile. But for me, I couldn't see the value between having a social media page with loads of followers from all around the world to how that would benefit me as a local business owner that needs people off the street to come in and get their hair cut. So I never really put too much stock into it. Now, obviously, having an online business, I've completely reversed that, and your social media is your shop window. That should absolutely be your priority. So I wish I'd read this book sooner, especially when I still have my brick and mortar businesses, because I think that would have really helped educate me on the value of building a personal brand online. But so a lot of the things aren't necessarily groundbreaking now, because I think we are a bit more aware and astute to the power of social media. Everything is online now. So there is no kind of confusion that you need to have like a good omnipresence across all of the social platforms if you want to build a personal brand and a business beyond like one set of followers on Instagram. You've got to hedge your bets. We've all heard about people having their Facebook groups closed down, Instagram pages hacked, and there's also been the emergence of new platforms. So obviously this doesn't mention, it mentions like Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr. Don't even know what that is. I've never even heard of that one, but I know that there's like a whole wealth. There's like Clapper, Twitter, no, TikTok. It doesn't even mention TikTok, and other platforms as well. So I think it gives you like a good foundational knowledge if you're somebody who is somewhat skeptical, but equally somebody who doesn't know how to make content for each of the platforms. And perhaps you're just doing like one Facebook post and then cross promoting that over your other platforms. You're really missing a trick. So what I love is that he really teaches you to how to create content that is going to be engaging on each of the individual platforms. And I think, like anything, business needs to be sustainable. So it's always got to be about dominating and really understanding and learning one platform before moving on to another. And I think that would be really, so it's a really good book in that sense. And it gives you really great practical examples, which is good. So it shows you examples from like other businesses that have created content for a platform really well. So I think for me, it's probably not going, it didn't teach me anything new, but it just kind of confirmed some basics that I already kind of somewhat knew. So if you are a relatively new business owner and somebody who is a little bit skeptical about social media, then absolutely read it. If you are somebody that's looking for like latest trends and things and strategies, it is absolutely not that book for you. It's really out of date. But even so, like everything still has value. So I did enjoy the book. I love Gary anyway. I would really like him to write something new. Please, Gary, putting that out there into the universe so that I can read that. And then I wanted to share with you, obviously, this week's pick, which is The Year of Yes by Shonda Rimes. And I am so excited. And I've got to be a little bit honest. I ordered this book a couple of weeks ago, but they didn't have it on Amazon. It had to come from somewhere else. So it arrived at the weekend and I started. I skipped ahead and I started a little bit early. So I'm already like that much into the book and I could not put it down. It is so engaging. So for anybody that doesn't know Shonda Rhimes, I would be really shocked. Who are you? But she is essentially a writer for shows on TV such as Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, which are all like my favorite series. Like, show me somebody who is not a Grey's Anatomy fan and we are not friends. I literally have quoted half of her work to my friends. You are my person over the years. Absolutely. And it's like a whole cult following behind the creation of her work. So I knew it was going to be good. And the whole premise of the book is that essentially she realized for herself that she wasn't very happy, feeling quite stuck, and had realized that she kind of got into this rut around like just saying no to everything because it's easier and it's safer and it's more familiar. And how many times in life do we do that, where we get these real like stuck moments in our life where we're like, God, something needs to give, something needs to change. I don't know what it is. I'm open, like, universe, help me, because I just feel like I can't stay here anymore. And that's exactly how it's meant to be, right? I believe that we're all spiritual beings and that your soul will know before your conscious mind will when you're ready for change and ready for an up level and ready for growth. And that we should all be ultimately looking for our next level of growth, whatever that looks like. So I was super excited to start reading it. Already it's incredible. It's funny, it is really engaging, and I cannot wait to get through. So I'm only at the stage where she's like probably like a couple of chapters in, where she has essentially set herself the challenge of, this is going to be my year of yes. I don't get to say no to anything and I'm going to go all in. And I did that for myself actually last year, where I essentially decided the same thing. I was like, I don't really know what I want. I felt a little bit lost in my business, because when you've been in business for a long time, you know, this is my 5th year in business coaching alone, it can get a little bit like, well, I've kind of done all the things that I wanted to do, so I don't know what is next, because there isn't really anything that feels like growth with a huge desire attached to it, or I'd already be doing it. So I'm just going to lean back and let the universe present me with opportunities that I didn't even know that I wanted. And that's essentially what I did last year. And it just blew my mind. Like, the most incredible year unfolded, where I traveled to LA to write my book, and then I traveled to Florida to promote my book and to be interviewed on Fox News. I attended events, hosted events. I did far more like events and transformational events than I anticipated, which was amazing, as well as meeting and connecting and just having this incredible year for growth and leadership. I was featured in magazines and all of the things, and that really just came back from me leaning back and saying, like, I don't know yet, so I'm going to hand it over to you, universe, to give me an exceptional year. And that's what happened, and it was just amazing. So I love the whole ethos around this book, and I'm really excited to read it. If you're going to be joining me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've got any recommendations for next week, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just so excited. So thank you for being here. I like to keep these super short, and I look forward to catching up with you next week.